Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The Senate continues to deliberate on how to proceed with the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The chamber earlier rejected the motion of Minority Leader Tito Sotto to table the call of Senator Rodante Marcoleta to dismiss the case. Let's listen in.
The violation be stopped by the court. Sinabi din po ni Justice Carpio sa desisyong Aralio versus Aquino, those who acted in bad faith with gross negligence cannot invoke this doctrine. Hindi po pwedeng pakinabangan nung taong gumawa ng unconstitutional at illegal act ang doktrinang ito. Pwede lamang po itong gamitin ng mga partidong walang kinalaman dun sa ginawang mali, masama o dinaayon sa saligang batas. Ika nga, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands, and he who seeks equity must likewise do equity. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, kinondena din ng ilang legal luminaries tulad ng Philconsa na dating pinangunahan ng nanguna sa impeachment complaint na si Speaker Romualdez, ilang taon lamang ang lumilipas, na hindi daw, bagong requirement daw ang due process, dagdag daw ito. Mr. President, Your Honors, they should read Francisco again. They forgot that lack of due process in the impeachment process had been raised and in fact was specifically mentioned in the separate concurring opinions. And allow me to quote the concurring opinion of Justice Panganiban. The due process clause enshrined in our fundamental law is a condition sine qua non that cannot be ignored in any proceeding, administrative, judicial, or otherwise. It is deemed written into every law, rule, or contract, even though not expressly stated therein. Hence, the House rules on impeachment, insofar as they do not provide the charged official with number 1, notice, and number 2, opportunity to be heard prior to being impeached, are also unconstitutional. Needless to say, the due process limitation on the impeachment process was already...
All right, that's of course Senate President there, Chis Escudero, explaining his vote on the motion to what was originally called dismiss, which was amended to motion to archive the impeachment complaint. Let's get on point now with Akbayan Party List Representative Perci Cendaña. Akbayan was the first group to file the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. Congressman, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time.
Magandang gabi, PK. Good evening, everyone.
How are you watching the proceedings in the Senate, Congressman? At ano po ang inyong reaksyon?
Yes, we are closely monitoring along with our friends and peers in the network that pushed for the first impeachment complaint. Siyempre tayo ay nababahala talaga dito sa naririnig at nakita natin nag-unfold. We were hoping for a character development on the part of the Senate, pero mukhang magiging foregone conclusion yung inaasahan natin mula sa isang Senado na dapat ay impeachment court, pero ayaw mag-impeachment court kasi ang gusto lang nilang gawin ay palusutin si VP Sara Duterte.
When you said character development, what exactly did you mean? At ano po yung inyong inasahan?
We were hoping that the Senate would assert both independence and its constitutional mandate following the Supreme Court decision. And also, at the very least, siguro uphold the rule of law. At nakita man natin itong turn of events this afternoon, yung nasimula na during the beginning of this process, mukhang doon talaga nila dadalhin. Minamadali na ibasura, i-dismiss, or i-archive itong impeachment complaint kay VP Sara Duterte without the benefit of a fair trial.
Ilan po sa mga nakuha ko po na sinabi ni Senate President Chis Escudero a while ago, there were parts I tried to keep updated and monitored this. Nagsalita na po ang Korte Suprema and the words used even by the other senators were immediately executory, void ab initio, and the Senate has no jurisdiction. Were there any surprises on your end with how the voting happened, especially just to siguro give a little bit of background to those who might have missed it or might want to get a prize or updated on this. Nagkaroon po ng unang motion. The first motion was filed by Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, motion to dismiss, which was amended to motion to archive. After that, nag-motion naman po si Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto, motion to table. Ito pong to lay on the table, ito pong naging motion ni Congressman Marcoleta to archive. Let's go to the motion to lay on the table that was manifested by the Senate Minority Leader. I think the vote was 19-5. Ibig sabihin, natalo po itong motion ni Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto. That's how I'm understanding it. Would that be correct, Congressman? And any surprises in the vote?
Well, syempre we were very disappointed with the result of the vote doon sa motion to lay on the table. Kasi the motion to lay on the table makes sense. Di ba? Alam naman natin, even if meron ng decision yung Supreme Court, nag-motion for reconsideration kami. Yung mga unang complainants, sa House of Representatives, at meron pang isang grupo na may pending MR. And even with the Supreme Court decision na executory na ito, sinabi pa rin na mag-comment on the motion for reconsideration yung kampo ni VP Sara Duterte. So ibig sabihin, ongoing pa yung proseso at it makes sense to lay on the table kasi may hinihintay pa tayong final action from the Supreme Court.
Pero papaano ho, how does one really understand when the Supreme Court says immediately executory? I say that, of course, because those two words have been said time and time again by at least those who have or voted for the first motion and are voting now on the second motion.
Ayan. So again, we'll go back to the earlier point na, di ba, while the Supreme Court said it's immediately executory, pero bakit binigyan pa rin ng Supreme Court na pagkakataon na mag-comment on the motion for reconsideration? Si VP Sara at kanilang kampo, it means that the processes should still be ongoing at dapat at the very least, hintayin ng Senado na magkaroon ng final decision or action ang Senado on this issue. Kasi meron dalawang pending na MR. So let's be very clear on that the Supreme Court told the camp of VP Sara Duterte to comment on the motion for reconsideration.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, ano ho ba ang nakikita nyo na ho ba anong kalalabasan nitong second round of voting on the motion to archive the impeachment complaint?
Ito nakita natin dahan-dahan paano mag-crumble. Yung una, separation of power. Pangalawa, yung sana pagtatanggol ng Senado doon sa kanyang mandato. At nakita natin kung paano, dahan-dahan nakita natin right before our eyes that the Senate really is indeed a Duterte Senate.
And you see this being archived. Nakikita nyo na po ba na yung motion to archive ay mananalo? Or will get the votes rather?
We're still hoping against hope. No? We're still hoping against hope. Pero parang yung mga inaasahan natin na sana magbago ang isip, mukhang doon pa rin papunta yung kanilang mga boto batay doon sa unang round of voting. So ngayon mukhang ano na lang ito, nagpapaliwanag na lamang sila sa presinto. Pero doon sa Court of Public Opinion, malinaw na that this is a Senate that chose to coddle and defend a Vice President that abused power, plundered the nation's coffers. So parang naging tagapag-kubli at taga-konsente ng krimen ng Vice Presidente yung Senate, the way we are seeing them now. And we hope really earlier today for a character development. Pero sadly, wala tayong nakikitang ganon.
Congressman, hindi ho ba kayo, it doesn't seem like you're concerned with the words that you are using dahil hindi ho ba sinama din kayo ng ilang mga abogado dito sa kaso before the Supreme Court on indirect contempt, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, sinampahan tayo ng kaso na indirect contempt to silence us at para patigilin tayo doon sa pagsasabi natin at pagbabahagi na nararamdaman, hindi lamang as an individual legislator, kundi na marami nating mga kababayan. Lalo na yung mga naging matapang to stand up on this issue.
Yung hubang motion to archive the impeachment complaint, how do you appreciate that? Ano ho ba sa madaling salita ang ibig sabihin nito? Does it mean that isasantabi muna natin pero pagka magkaroon po ng ibang ruling or the Supreme Court decides to overturn its earlier ruling, ay bubuhayin ho ba ito? O ibig sabihin bang the motion to archive is as good as dead? What does it mean?
Kasi parang purgatorio ang archive eh. Pag dinala mo siya sa archive, mahirap na siyang buhayin muli. Mahirap na siyang hugutin doon. So that's another way of dismissing o pagbabasura ng impeachment complaint.
All right. So, sa ngayon po, si Senator Kiko Pangilinan ang nagsasalita. Or is it Senator Jinggoy Estrada? I'm sorry, no, I'm getting two different. I think it's Senator Jinggoy Estrada. So we're gonna listen to the rest of the votes. In the meantime, Akbayan Party List Representative Perci Cendaña. Sir, before you go, just one last question. What do you plan to do after this?
Hindi tayo naubusan ng energy to hold those who abuse power accountable. At magpapatuloy yung paniningil natin ng pananagutan mula kay VP Sara Duterte sa kanyang pagnanakaw sa kaban ng bayan at pang-aabuso sa kapangyarihan. So patuloy tayong maninibigan.
Thank you so much for your time, Akbayan Representative Perci Cendaña. Thank you, Congressman. All right, so as I see it right now, if we can show the live shots, yes, it's Senator Jinggoy Estrada now voting. Let's listen for a bit.
Co-equal branches. It is the guardian of the rule of law. If we, the very makers of law, choose to defy its authoritative interpretation, then we commit an unforgivable assault on our democratic institutions, and we undoubtedly invite a constitutional crisis, a breakdown of checks and balances where anarchy replaces order and chaos becomes the norm. Mr. President, let us be clear. No one is above the law. Not the President, not the Vice President, not even the Senate when it sits as an impeachment court. The Constitution is not just an ordinary law. It is the supreme law of the land. And if we betray it to serve political passions or popular sentiment, then we betray the Republic itself. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines, in a statement, said that defying the High Court's ruling would, in effect, erode the very foundations of the legal order. And I agree with this, Mr. President. At the expense of sounding like a broken record, I would like to say again that the Supreme Court is the final interpreter of our Constitution. Tagapagpaliwanag ang Korte Suprema ng saligang batas. At kapag may hindi pagkakaintindihan kung paano dapat ipatupad, unawain ng batas, kabilang ang proseso ng impeachment, ang interpretasyon ng kataas-taasang hukuman ang siyang mananaig. Kaya naman, kapag nagsalita ng Korte Suprema...
All right, we're going to take a very short break. When we return, we'll get more updates on the ongoing Senate deliberation with our correspondent on the ground. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. Let's get an update on the Senate, which is still deliberating on the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. Hannah T. joins us now from there for updates. Hannah, what's the latest?
Pinky, with the developments, it is expected that the Senate will formally archive the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte following the motion of Senator Rodante Marcoleta to archive the impeachment complaint. And actually, Senate President Chis Escudero himself voted yes on the motion and defended the High Court's intervention. And he said the issue of initiation involved a genuine constitutional question that only the Supreme Court could resolve. He referenced the 2003 Francisco ruling, which blocked the impeachment attempt against former Chief Justice Hilario Davide, and then he said himself was part of the part of Congress back then, and he repeated the central question. He said, what defines an initiation of an impeachment complaint and who has jurisdiction over it? And under the SC's ruling, it said that the impeachment complaint violated the one-year ban, and the court ruled that the Senate never acquired jurisdiction and ordered the decision to be immediately executory. So that is also the reason why the Senate voted to adopt that motion, which is ongoing nga itong botohan ng mga senador. And kanina, before SP Cheese, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano also voted yes, but he delivered a lengthy explanation rooted in religious passages, constitutional principles, principles, and he said it's easy to obey the Constitution when we agree with a decision but harder when we don't. At sinabi niya pa kanina, Pinky, that the court did not remove naman the House's power to impeach but ruled that the procedure and timing in this case were wrong. He urged the senators to apply the same standards to other issues bago siya formally bumoto na i-archive na nga at i-accept itong motion ni Senator Marcoleta and also Senator Bato de la Rosa. Noon Duterte ally also voted yes, saying we must follow the Supreme Court not because it's convenient but because it is right. And so far, meron pa ring explanation of vote ngayon among the senators at hinihintay natin kung ano nga yung formal count nung boto tungkol doon sa formal na pag-archive nitong impeachment complaint. Pinky.
Balikan lang natin yung naunang motion. Yung motion naman ni Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto, motion to lay on the table this motion of Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Yung count doon, it was 19-5, no? 5, kumbaga ang kumampi or agreed na lang rather with the motion of the Senate minority and 19 were against it. Would that be correct, Hannah?
Yes, Pinky. Actually, ang mga pangalan ng mga senador na nag-vote ng yes doon sa pag-lay on the table nung motion ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta na i-dismiss nga or i-archive itong impeachment ay sina Senators Tito Sotto, Risa Ontiveros, Kiko Pangilinan, Ping Lacson, and Bam Aquino. The rest, 19, ay bumoto na wag gawin itong pag-lay on the table nitong impeachment or yung motion ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta. That is why napunta dito sa pagtackle na nga nitong motion ni Senator Marcoleta. Pinky.
Hannah, sorry about this. Could you repeat the 5? Did you say Senator Ping, Senator Soto, Senator Bam, Senator Risa, and Senator Kiko?
Mm-hmm.
Sila ba yung 5?
Yes, Sotto, Ontiveros, Pangilinan, Lacson, and Aquino.
All right. So right now, it's Senator Jinggoy Estrada explaining his vote. So Hannah, matagal-tagal pa to dahil siguro baka meron pang mga, actually right now, it's already Senator Win Gatchalian. Maybe there's still about 16 or 17 of them that will cast and possibly explain their votes.
Yes, Pinky, and given na 19 yung bumoto doon sa against the motion of Senator or Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto na ilay on the table, we're also expecting na they're the same, ito yung same count nitong formally pag-archive ng impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. Pinky.
All right, Hannah, we'll let you go back and get more reports and insights from the people there. In the meantime, thank you so much, Hannah T, reporting to us live from the Senate. Let's go back there and listen to Senator Win Gatchalian.
Sa sariling interpretasyon, ito ay obligasyon, pananagutan, at tungkulin natin sa bansa at sa ating mga kababayan. From the very beginning, malinaw at consistent ang posisyon ko sa impeachment. Follow the law. Nung nagtipon tayo bilang impeachment court noong June 10 para magdesisyon kung ang articles of impeachment ay dapat bang ibalik sa mababang kapulungan, I voted no. I voted this way dahil importante po sa akin na mapag-usapan ng articles of impeachment sa konteksto ng isang legal, maayos at malinaw na impeachment trial. Ito ay naaayon sa mandato sa atin ng konstitusyon. Ayon sa Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 6 ng ating saligang batas, the Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. There is no room for ambiguity. Ito ang proseso ayon sa batas at ito ang ating tungkulin. Ang isang pundasyon ng konstitusyon ay ang separation of powers o ang pagkilala na ang bawat sangay ng gobyerno ay may kanya-kanyang kapangarihan at tungkulin. Ang executive, legislative at judiciary ay may kanya-kanyang mandato. At pagdating sa usaping konstitusyon, the final authority is the Supreme Court. Mr. President,
All right, again, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian then explaining his vote on this motion to archive the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. So basically, there will be maybe another hour or less than an hour for the rest of the senators to vote and, again, as mentioned a while ago, possibly explain their respective votes. That's on point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.